here. I hope you guys are doing absolutely amazing. As you can tell from today's title, I'm talking about identity. Identity, yes, it's been a while I've been here, and this has been on my heart since I would say last week. And I was like, you know what? Let's talk about this. Also, this is my first time going live from YouTube. So, yay! Very exciting. Let's get right into it. So, I want to know how can you activate your identity? How do you embody the identity? And how can you become that person that you actually want to be, right? And a few days ago, I was just thinking, why do we think that our worthiness as human beings, the thing that makes us valuable, that makes us valuable, is tied to what we produce? It's tied to what we do, or it's tied to what you did not do. Can you relate to that? The things you didn't do, you link your identity to that. The things you did, you link your identity to that. And it's neither of those things. Okay? How do you activate your identity? First, become aware of what your real identity is. So I'm Christian. Yeah. And I believe that our identities are based in Christ, in Jesus Christ. And what I've noticed in my life is that whenever I try to put my identity in something that is outside of me. It could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. It could be something that I've done, like I mentioned earlier, or something I have not done. But either way, whenever I do that, I find myself becoming sad or depressed. I find myself being caged in a box. I feel like I have to now live within this identity, this box I've created for myself. And of course, a human being, we're meant to exceed limitations. We're meant to keep growing. And that is not sustainable for your mental health or for your well-being, right? So our identity number one is that it is based in Jesus. It's based in Christ. And when you decide to put your identity in something else, you're going to pay the price. You're going to feel sad, lethargic. You're going to feel like something is missing in your life. So if right now you feel that you're struggling with finding who you are, maybe you're trying to find who you are. You're struggling with your mental health. You're struggling with confusion or what other thing you might be struggling with. First of all, ask yourself this question: where have I placed my identity? How do I define myself? And from this moment on, rebuke it. Decide and say, right here, right now, I decide to put my identity in Jesus and Christ alone. Because He's the only identity that really matters, and He's the one identity that will never ever fail you. Jesus or Christ is also called the rock that can never be moved. So when you decide to put your identity in Jesus, you're putting it in. Hi. Hi. When you decide to put your identity in Jesus, you're putting it in something that can never ever be moved. Hi. You're putting it in something that can ever you're putting it in something that can't ever be moved, right? So this is the reason why I encourage all of you guys to put your identity in Jesus. Because it's the one thing that can't ever change. When you decide to put it in different things, you're gonna start to feel that you're gonna begin to feel like something is missing in your life. Which is why I decided to call this thing Activate Your Identity. It's my first time going live on YouTube, guys. I'm sorry. I decided to call this Activate Your Identity, the one that really matters. Embody and step into it and then embody it, right? So if you're not, sorry, guys. Now that you know that your identity is actually in Jesus, that's the first step. You activate it by spending time with Him, right? I don't have the exact verses, but in Luke, there's a story about Martha and Mary, right? And Martha and Mary were basically sisters. And Martha, when Jesus came to their city, she was busy in the kitchen working and doing all of these things basically, while Mary was sitting at Jesus' feet. She wasn't doing anything, it seemed. She was just sitting there learning from Jesus, soaking up his information. And Martha came to Jesus and said, Jesus, my sister is out here sitting down, doing nothing. Is that fair? And in her mind, I'm sure she was convinced that Jesus would basically be mean to Mary and say, Mary, yeah, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be in here. Go to the kitchen. But instead, Jesus told Martha that Mary has gained the bigger portion. And what is that bigger portion? That bigger portion is your real identity. It's knowing that instead of trying to be a person who is always serving people, not because it's coming from you, but because you want to be liked, because you want to be accepted, because you want people to think, oh, hey, I'm Martha, I'm a good person. But instead, putting it in the thing that can never be changed. So to activate that identity in Jesus is to really spend time with Him, is to go to His feet like Mary, learn. and not to be worried or bothered about what others think about you, how they will see you, right? Like I'm out here, for example, I have a stutter, and I'm still sharing my voice. I'm still here being myself, and being on YouTube, even though I could have just thought to myself that how will people see me? I have a bit of a stutter, and I could have just thought that, oh, I'm a bit awkward. Do I have the right to be here? But no, because my real identity is not in any of these things. It's not how I look. It's not how I speak. It's not in these things. It's really in Jesus. And that can really begin to activate a whole new level of confidence in you, because then you're like, you know what? None of these things matter. Okay. I have a message. I'm going to share it. Maybe you want to start something, a business. You're like, I don't care if I've made mistakes in the past. Because whenever you want to do something and you hold back from doing it, is because you're most likely putting your identity in your past mistakes. And you're thinking, oh, I've done X, Y, and Z. I've made these mistakes in the past. So I don't have the right to do this thing because now I'm seeing myself as a person that can only be this way because you're drawing from a wrong identity. So it's so important for us to really let go. I feel like we have to break out of our personalities, break out of what we think we are, who we think we are, or how we think we should be. In that story in Luke, I think it's Luke 10, verse 39, Martha thought she had to be a certain way. And she was that way. She thought she had to be a woman, meant that she had to be in the kitchen, she had to serve. And from the way that she spoke back to Jesus about Mary, you could tell she was very bitter. You could tell she was very angry. You could tell she thought it was unfair. So whenever you want to put yourself in a box, you're going to have those feelings. You're going to feel like, oh, why am I here? This is so unfair. What has to do with this? And then but then you're gonna try to control other people around you to think, oh, why aren't they doing what I'm doing? Why am I the only one who is miserable? The truth is that you don't have to be miserable. You don't have to be sad. You don't have to feel the way that feel the things you're feeling. All you have to do is to say, I'm done. I'm done trying to be something that I was never meant to be. I'm convinced that when you put your identity, when you ground yourself in Jesus, the real you begins to come out. Like your real personality begins to come out. Because this is saying that there's liberty in his presence. There's liberty in the presence of Jesus. There's liberty in being grounded in the rock that cannot be moved. There's liberty in that. Because in that place, you can truly begin to be yourself. But if you try to be yourself, like everyone in this world, they keep talking about finding yourself. I'm going to go find myself. I'm going to go find myself. But yet, they end up more confused. Because how do you find yourself in a world that is constantly trying to tell you who you are, and the things that are pushing on you do not even benefit you? How do you find yourself like that way? You're going to end up more confused, right? But the best way to find yourself is to really decide that, you know what, I'm going to ground myself in that rock that can never be moved. I'm going to ground myself in Jesus, the only identity that I really need in my life. And as you begin to spend time with him, like Mary, Martha's sister, you begin to feel free, basically. You begin to feel free. You begin to break out of the molds of society, how people think you should be, how they think you should talk, what they think you should do. Oh, you can't do that. You can't go to Harvard. You're not that smart. You can't do whatever it is. You begin to break out of that and really begin to focus on the thing that really matters, aka the bigger portion. The bigger portion. So if you want to really, the only identity that really matters is the one that's in Jesus, and you activate it by becoming aware of that fact, becoming aware that nothing else matters, nothing else that people have said about you, how they see you, how you see yourself, how you think you should be, how you think you should talk. None of those things matter. That's how you activate it, by becoming aware of that fact, right? You begin to step into it when you begin to become intentional about spending time with God every single day, about being intentional about literally sitting at the feet of Jesus and allowing Him to really cleanse you from the inside out, cleanse the false ideas, the fears. What if nobody likes me? What if nobody clicks on my video? Whatever it might be for you, you can't really be happy when you're living in the wrong shell. And most of us will say these things like, I feel weird. I don't feel like I can be myself. I feel self-conscious of my environment. But there's a state that you can get into where there's actually liberty, where you feel free. And that's the presence of God. There's liberty in His presence. Yeah, that's how you step into it. And the more you do that, the more you begin to embody who you were actually born to be. It is written that He knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. God already knew you. So you don't have to try to find who you are. You don't have to try to find who you are in the world, basically. Because the one who knew you before you were formed knows everything about you. And when you begin to give yourself permission to decide and say that, you know what, I'm going to go to the blueprint, I'm going to go to the foundation, I'm going to go to the only truth, the only thing that's real, and I'm going to sit at his feet. I'm going to activate the awareness that this is where I can find my answers. I'm going to stay there. I'm going to step into it. I'm going to stay there, and I'm going to embody it with time. It doesn't matter if I look silly. I'm going to embody it with time. I'm going to trust that this is who I'm supposed to be. And the more you do that, you'll notice that you feel more free. You feel more free. The very thing we're all looking for is happiness, is peace within ourselves. And then we keep going to the wrong things. We go to food, we go to social media, we go to everything except the very thing that can actually benefit us, which is Jesus, which is God. So today I want to really encourage you that this is a new year, and I really want to focus on the identity. That word always trips me up. Identity, identity, identity. The only identity that really matters, which is the one in Jesus, the one that is in Christ. So when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, don't just step into your routine of just what you always do, but really be like Mary and go to the feet of Jesus. Okay, don't be Martha. Go to, and by the way, everything I'm sharing is from Luke 10. I think Luke 10:39. I'm not sure the exact verse, but it's Luke 10. If you look it up, you'll find it. Martha and Mary, Luke 10, basically. Yeah. When you wake up in the morning, don't just ask, don't just step into your routine of what you've always done, who you've always been. Instead, pattern interrupt the whole thing and go to Jesus and ask and spend time with Him and ground yourself in that identity. The more you ground yourself in Him, the more the real you begins to come out. And you begin to realize that, wow, I'm actually funny. You begin to realize things about yourself you never even knew existed. You begin to find things about yourself you never even knew you liked. You begin to discover a whole new part of you, the real you. Because I believe that until you really begin to step into your relationship with Jesus, you really begin to see Him as your only identity. Everything, all the other lies, everything else begins to melt and just fall right off you. Everything else begins to melt and literally falls right off you. Performing to like for others to like you, no need for that anymore. Performing for others to appreciate you, no need for that anymore. No, because as you are right now, you actually are enough. You don't have to do anything more. However, if you're ready to really discover and find out who you really are, this is the year to do that. And I'm inviting you to spend more time with Jesus at His feet. Open your Bible, read your Bible, pray, meditate, on the Word. And I promise you that as time goes on, you're going to begin to realize that, wow, I'm actually a really beautiful person. I had no idea I was so beautiful. I had no idea I had all of these traits within me. You don't have to try so hard to find yourself. It is like our generation's illness, right? I have to find myself. I have to find myself. I have to find myself. Everyone is trying so hard to find themselves, but somehow no one is actually finding themselves because you're looking in the wrong things. You're looking in the wrong direction. So this is the year where you understand that your worthiness is not tied to what you do or what you don't do. Your worthiness is tied to your identity in Jesus. The only identity that really matters is tied in that. It's my first time going live from YouTube. I'm not gonna lie, this was a bit awkward for me, but I think I did it. I think I did okay. What do you guys think? Let me know what you thought about this video, and I wanted to comment down below hashtag my identity is in Jesus. If you agree with me, if you decide that this year is the year where you're really going to break out of the molds of what you're supposed to be, of what you thought you were supposed to be, what you felt you were always meant to be, and really just be, be in the one place where you're allowed to be, to the one person that knew you before you were formed. Allow yourself to just be. I see a person here said, I love you. I love you guys. I love I love you. Yes. Yeah. Let me know if that was helpful. Let me know how I did. Let me know what you want to hear from me. By the way, I have a free ebook called Coronation because I believe that the things that hurt us the most are false identities again. What I'm talking about today. The lies we have believed about ourselves, the things we could do, things we couldn't do, all of those lies have really begun to hold us back in many ways of our lives. So I had this ebook. By the way, I need to update it, but right now it's available down below. It's free and it's like 11 days. And each day you get like guidance on how to let go of a lie and how to really crown yourself as the empress you were always born to be. So that's down below. It's free. It's a free ebook. I also have this mini course called God Override, where basically you invite God to take over your life. If that sounds interesting to you, check the links down below. And I'm going. I'm gone. I'm done for. I'm done with this video. Let me know if anything else. If there's anything else you want to see from me, from my channel. Yeah, from melting the ice, where we melt away our insecurities, we melt away our fears, we melt away, yeah, all the things that are holding us back. And this is going to be a very fun year for me, for you, for us, for this ministry, for this channel. And I look forward to who I become, and I really look forward to carrying you along in this journey of my becoming. So that's all for today. I will see you on Tuesday. Yeah, I'll see you on Tuesday. So I'm not even sure how to end the live.